Hey guys, what is going on? Shaw here, and today we are going to be just taking a look at how Guardian Druid is performing currently in Mythic Plus. Now, I do want to apologize for my absence lately. I have obviously been a little busy and tied up. If you haven't noticed, good on you. If you have noticed, I've just been busy with holiday stuff. It's a busy time of the year for both me at work, but also just holiday family stuff, as well as COVID. And on top of all that, I have been grinding this game like no other to try to get Keystone Master to kind of prove my significance, I guess. I just always need approval, I guess. So now that I've gotten all that down, I am excited to start making content again, as well as pushing keys even higher than I have already. So I've been getting 15s and 16s across the board. If you don't know who I am a lousy Guardian Druid who maintains typically a rank 20 spot US on the ladder for Raider.io the last couple seasons. And I make, content. Well, I used to make content and now I'm back, so it's great. So today, I just felt like it was a good little kind of swing back into things, talking about where I think Guardian Druid currently lies, where they are succeeding and where they're failing a little bit, and talking about some common misconceptions of the Guardian Druid currently. In my last couple video posts that I've done, just kind of showing off my dungeon runs, I've had a lot of questions come through about, one, my damage, but two, just my overall thoughts about the Guardian Druid's sturdiness, and if it's like worth continuing to play Guardian Druid. So that's what this video is going to attempt to cover. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, obviously hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to let me know that I should keep doing content like this. And we're gonna just dive right into this. So first things first, let's get this out of the way. It's obviously a dominant meta by the Vengeance Demon Hunters. Vengeance Demon Hunters have been absolutely slaughtering the leaderboards. Right now they are half of the tank population. So one class makes up all of the tanks, which is kind of nutty. We saw something similar in BFA with Warriors, but Warriors were still kind of kept up with Brewmaster Monks at the end of BFA. So it's kind of interesting to see a tank be extremely dominant, more than it has been in previous tiers. Their ability to do damage, their ability to kite, their ability to CC mobs, on top of just being able to never take damage because they're always not in range of the mobs, is pretty extraordinary, and it's a great feat of strength. So that's why you're going to see a lot of Vengeance Demon Hunters, but you're going to see a few of their other tanks kind of climb up on the leaderboard a little bit. There are a couple Guardian Druids, and there are a few Brewmaster Monks who are also kind of maintaining some of those top spots. And there's definitely merit to that. Guardian Druid is in a really good spot defensively, so let's kind of talk about that for a second. So the legendary that Guardian Druids are making right now is called Ursoc's Fury Remembered, and what this does is it gives your Thrash a chance to trigger twice, which is just extra damage, which is always great. On top of this, it also creates an absorption shield on your person for 75% of the damage done. So this really values both the haste stat and the crit stat, as well as obviously versatility like it has in the past. This, in pair with talents like Earth Warden, make Guardian Druids extremely sturdy when it comes to auto attack damage and damage in general. Now, Guardian Druid's skill cap ceiling for, obviously keeping Iron First stacks applied, doesn't come with ease, it comes with practice. Their sturdiness, in a lot of situations, they're probably the best tank to just face tank mobs currently. Guardian Druids also have the highest base amount of armor compared to obviously other tanks, as well as having a lot of damage reduction that's going to be able to be applied through versatility and through buffs like Rend and Tear. This week, getting Keystone Master, it looks a lot different than how a lot of Vengeance Demon Hunters had to get it. I was able to just like face tank mobs and hope that my DPS killed things in time. So I can say that when I am playing my Guardian Druid, I don't ever really feel like I'm going to just fall over flat. There's never times where I'm going to get chunked for 80% of my maximum health just because I'm not sturdy at all, which is obviously a huge benefactor to the Guardian Druid class right now. I would rank the overall tankiness of Guardian Druid probably top tier. Obviously, there are some different things you have to keep in mind, like the damage profile of a certain dungeon or a certain encounter. If it's more physical damage, a warrior or a paladin might be able to kind of take over the Guardian Druid's position on the ability to mitigate damage. But then when you take in other things like magic damage and ability to survive larger pulls and maintain aggro on larger pulls, you're going to see Guardian Druid pull ahead. So when it comes to defensives, I really think Guardian Druids are in a great spot. Like, I can't really stress this enough. I don't really know exactly what to talk about when it comes to this topic in general. If you have been playing Guardian Druid and you have been taking it fairly seriously with trying to get the right stats like versatility and mastery, as well as having the appropriate legendary for the content that you're doing, you're probably finding that more often than not, tanking is kind of a snooze fest, and you're probably struggling a little bit with damage and making sure you're able to, one, hold threat, but also keep up with the damage of the dungeon to beat the timer. So I want to also talk about that. So damage is something that a lot of people have struggled with when it comes to Guardian Druid, because Guardian Druid is the one tank where you kind of have to pick and choose between doing damage or mitigating damage. A lot of other classes don't really have to worry about this. Even the tank that's similar to Guardian Druid, which would be Prot Warrior, which they both spend Rage. Warriors have a chance to actually make their spender be free as a proc, and they get that damage essentially for free based on just doing damage and being alive and playing the class. So if Blizzard was to make a small change to Guardian Druid, I would love to see them make Maul have a reduced rage cost, or I would love for them to maybe make it do more damage to make it worth the rage that it does cost, because it does cost a fair bit of rage, which I think is a little outrageous. No pun there. And yikes, man. I'm really killing it tonight. So that's kind of the big thing with Guardian. So what exactly do I think about their damage? I don't think Guardian Druids are bad right now. I don't think that their damage that they're able to put out is super low. I don't think it's, if you're comparing it to a prop paladin or a vengeance demon hunter, I think, yeah, there's definitely going to be a little bit of a difference there because of how the classes are designed in general. But if you take a look at Warcraft logs, and if you look at the damage breakdown of how tanks are performing, Guardian Druids actually have one of the highest single target damage in the raid encounters, as well as being able to hold their own on AoE. Incarnation and Berserk scale really well into AoE because our Thrash is uncapped compared to like other tanks, you know, AoE abilities. For example, Elysian Decree and Sigil of Flame, those eventually have drop-off damage, and so obviously like abilities like Avenger Shield are going to be target capped, which limits the damage profile of some of the tanks, where Guardian Druid really, Thrash being our main damage component and having it be uncapped means we scale a lot better and a lot faster into larger trash bowls. So it's something that a Guardian Druid is going to be able to pull off. So often in some of my videos that you probably have seen is I am using cooldowns on top of also pulling like 10 to 12 mobs on top of each other to really maximize my incarnation window, or my berserk window if I'm running berserk, which honestly more often than not I'm not doing. So how do Guardian Druids really do damage? So something that you might want to take away from this is that the biggest issue that I see Guardian Druids make, or the biggest mistake that I see them make, is that they don't prioritize Moonfire into their core rotation. Moonfire is actually going to make up anywhere between 10 and 20% of your damage depending on build. And especially in single target encounters, if you're not maintaining Moonfire, you are losing out on a huge amount of damage potential for an ability that does a lot of damage for no cost outside of the global. Another issue that I see Guardian Druids make sometimes is sometimes you don't need Iron Fur if you can supplement in a bark skin or some other kind of cooldown in to mitigate damage for you. So for example, when you are in a single target boss fight, while the meme and like the joke, which is actually kind of a serious thing, is like you should never hit Maul, like Maul really shouldn't be on your bar. Maul isn't a problem to hit if you can sacrifice that rage. So knowing your class, knowing the damage profile of an encounter or a dungeon or a pole, if you know that you can drop that rage into a Maul to do a little bit extra damage, do it. It's not something that every player is going to recommend, but if you're smart enough and you can register that you can spend that rage there, I would highly recommend that. But the biggest takeaway that I can definitely say is just maximize your globals. If you are kiting mobs, make sure you're applying Moonfire while you're kiting those mobs. Don't stand there like an idiot, because that Moonfire, both direct damage and indirect damage from the dot, that's a damage over time effect, is going to help you not only hold aggro, but increase your overall damage throughout the key. Do I think Guardian Druid is top tier for damage? Not by a long shot, but I also think some of the other tanks are a little overpowered right now. It's not necessarily the most enjoyable thing as a DPS player getting out damaged by your tank, and I don't think it necessarily has to be the case for tanks to be strong. So while Prop Paladins and Vengeance Demon Hunters are currently like destroying every other tank when it comes to damage, other tanks can do a good amount of damage or a fair amount of damage if they know how to play their class. And I think as long as the Guardian Druid knows how to capitalize their globals and make sure they're applying their Moonfires to the right target, swiping when needed, thrashing as often as possible, more often than not, a Guardian Druid is going to be able to not only maintain aggro and maintain threat, but also apply a valuable amount of damage to a key to help complete the timer. I'm not going to make a tier list, like this isn't supposed to be a tier list video. I'm just kind of talking about my overall thoughts of Guardian Druid right now and what it is looking like. And honestly, I have to say I'm extremely satisfied with where Guardian Druid is. In BFA, it was definitely not a tank that I would recommend to almost anyone. But currently right now, I think for anyone who is looking to get into tank, or if you're maybe a Boomkin or a Feral player who's looking to maybe try off-speccing, it's a tank you can easily pick up. It's a little, I would say it's hard to master, but it's easy to learn. And I think that's the best, that's like the brightest side of Druid currently. So those are my overall thoughts. I'm definitely going to be doing more videos in the near future. I'm hoping to start doing some boss guides. I am going to do a rotation guide in the next couple days here. I'm kind of putting it together exactly because there's a lot. Actually, when I started thinking about how much shit that Guardian Druid has to you know, remember in different situations. There's a lot of information there, so I'm definitely going to try to break that down as best as possible. If you're looking forward to that, hit that sub button and that notification bell to get notified when that goes live. I'm also, like I said, I'm going to plan on doing boss guides, dungeon guides, and just doing tank theory crafting in general. So I'm looking forward to all that, and I hope you are too. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening or day or you know, whenever you decide to watch this. All right, take care, guys.